We turn directions now to the south, where Hurricane Laura is still a tropical storm, but not before hitting Louisiana and Texas as very early this morning as a Category 4 hurricane. Wind gusts reached up to 150 miles per hour. NBC News is reporting the storm has killed 3 people in Louisiana. Meanwhile, in Texas, Governor Greg Abbott is cautiously optimistic.
When you consider the magnitude of the damage that could have occurred here, we did dodge a bullet.
Well, more than 800,000 in Texas and Louisiana and Arkansas are without power tonight. President Trump says he will visit the hard-hit areas this weekend. Of course, we do want to keep an eye on that storm as it continues to churn northward. We'll get the desk out of the way here, show you the very latest on this thing as it continues to move into Arkansas right now. The storm basically begins falling apart as soon as it leaves the water and goes over land. So we're seeing the storm decaying still, but it's just a testament to how much power this thing had that it is still producing widespread flooding and tropical storm force winds all the way into Arkansas at this hour. As the storm is expected to continue to move northward, it's going to bang into a cold front that we are expecting here. So we'll talk more about that coming up, but still 50-mile-per-hour winds associated with this storm, and it's going to continue to kind of sit there in the mid-Mississippi Valley. Certainly a very long night for those folks.